Plaintiff Nolita Miller says the defendant is her daughter, and when she turned 15, she started hanging out with drug dealers and dropped out of school. Nolita claims when the defendant was 17, they got into a physical fight, and the defendant called the police on her, and she's suing her daughter for truck damages. Defendant Jisha Palmer admits that she dropped out of high school, but insists it was only because Nolita put her out of the house. Jisha says Nolita always neglected her for men and even tried to put her and her siblings in foster care.
Start with you.
Your Honor, that's my daughter, Jisha Palmer, and she is off the chain now. You know, Jisha was, when she was growing up, can I submit you a picture of her? When she was a little kid. She was a little kid. Jisha, that's when she just graduated from kindergarten and everything. And the person that's standing here today, that's not her, you know. Jisha's a bright young lady. She had so much potential about herself. You know, she wanted to be a photographer when she grew up and everything. And she going to the left instead of going to the right.
What age did she start that?
When she turned 15 years old.
Okay, what type of things did she begin doing?
She started being disrespectful, not going to school, talking back to people, you know, start hanging out with drug dealers.
So what did happen with her schooling?
She did not graduate.
Okay.
She was getting smart with the teachers all the time, telling them what she's not going to do.
She dropped out?
She dropped out. Then turned around after that. She was trying to go get her GED. I encouraged her to go get her GED. She failed GED tests twice and everything. So, like I told her, don't give up. You know, you still got a lot.
What's her lifestyle like now?
She working, she working and everything. She trying to go back and get her GED, you know, but she dating this drug dealer right now. He's a drug dealer. He just got out of jail and
Why
everything.
does she have to work if she's dating a drug dealer?
That's why I don't understand.
So she's playing the game backwards.
Yeah, she playing it backwards. Like, to me, she
with a
is.
drug dealer, that's all they do is pop their money off on women.
But she very independent though, like me, you know. So I told her, just do the right thing. You going down the wrong path, you know. She don't want to listen. Me and her had a fight before. When she slinched at me, I had to sock her in her head, you know. She called the police.
When was that?
That's when she was like 17 years old, you know, and the police came.
So it sounds like you're saying she has a violent temper.
Yeah, she got an attitude problem, violent temper and an attitude problem.
All right, and have you looked into that, taken her for counseling?
Yes, I tried family counseling with me and my other two kids.
Did they come up with any answers?
No, they did not. They tried to put it off all on me, like I'm the bad parent, and I'm not.
Okay.
You know, and I tried everything in the power to do the right thing by my kids.
Let me hear from you.
Okay, first off, that last statement was not true. I do love my mom very much, but no. The picture she's trying to paint of me is not nowhere near the picture.
You need to stop lying like that.
Let her finish.
It's not nowhere near how I am.
Did you drop out of high school?
Okay, first off, I dropped out of high school, but not because of my own reason. She put me out.
What grade were you in when she put you out?
I was in the 11th.
Okay, where'd you go?
I went to my best friend's house.
Okay, and how long did you live there?
For a couple months.
Where'd you go after that?
I went back home because...
Oh, so why couldn't you go back to school if you went back home where you used to go to school? What's wrong? You're not feeling good?
I feel
You didn't think Judge Mathis knew how to make sense of what you tell me. You thought you were going to be able to just tell me anything and I was going to buy it.
Yes.
So let's try it again.
Okay.
Before you were put out, you were going to school.
Yes, sir.
The only reason you stopped is because you were put out. So my question was, when you returned, why couldn't you go back?
I didn't just drop out of school randomly. I actually went to school. But
let's try it again then. Why did you drop out? Because now you're saying you didn't. Did you drop out or not?
I did.
Why?
It was hard.
You tried getting a tutor?
Yes.
Because that's a bigger issue for me than any of this nonsense. The bigger issue for me is you getting an education to take care of yourself. So that was why I was going through all that. It's not that I was trying to come down on you. I want to see why you're not coming up for yourself. And so now you say it was because school was hard. Did she ever tell you it was too hard?
When she told me that she was that school was hard, when she was in school, they told her she needed a tutor and everything. She did not want to take that point to try to get a tutor. So I went up there and I talked to her teachers for her. And like I explained to her, she needed a tutor. It was her decision to go to no tutoring classes.
Good enough.
You know.
All right, so what do you want to tell me?
Well, we haven't always had a great relationship. We have our ups and downs, mostly downs, because my mom has neglected us for men. She has tried to put us up for foster care.
Pardon me?
She tried to put me, my brother, and my sister up for foster care. She's numerous times hasn't put food in the house.
Why do you think this is?
Because she didn't want us. She wanted a man. She tried to even get me thrown in juvenile court, in jail. She said I pulled a knife out on her because she stole my money, and I came home and found out that she stole it. And she tried to fight me. That's what she said. She punched my head. She didn't punch me in my head first off. She got the police out. I pulled a knife out on her. When they got there, they didn't find a knife. So I went to jail because it was her word against mine because I was a minor. So basically, after all of that, like, you would think that I would be out of control the way she says I am, but I'm not. My life is actually...
You ever been arrested for anything other than fighting with your mother?
No.
But you did drop out of school because you did not want to turn to a tutor, which was suggested to you. And secondly, I do believe that you had some problems with your mother and attitude. I can tell by your demeanor in here today that you have attitude issues with figures of authority. You've demonstrated that with me. I'm a figure of authority over you today. Therefore, I believe that with your own mother, you'll certainly be that way. You want to tell me about the truck damages? What happened?
Okay, on March 22nd, 2012, I let Jisha drive my truck to see her godbaby right around the corner from where we stayed at. So she asked me, can she use my truck? So I said, yeah. So I told her, she said she's gonna be right back, okay? Jisha did not come back home until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when I got a phone call from her brother saying that Jisha was in an accident down the street from where we lived at. So I ran down there to where she's at, out of breath and everything, and the police said, ma'am, do I need to help put the oxygen machine on you? I said, no, just let me be calm real quick, just calm. And I walked over to Jisha, I said, you okay? So I walked back up a little bit right with my truck and I started walking around the truck. So she was like, Mom, I'm gonna pay for your truck. I'm gonna pay for your truck. So I said, I don't care about the truck right now, Jisha. I just care about making sure you was all right, you know. So we went back to the house and everything, and I said, Jisha, do you got insurance? She said, no, Mama, my insurance just lapsed. So that's when I went in my room and closed my door and everything, and she came back to me. She said, Mom, I'm gonna pay for your truck and everything. And I said, Jisha, I don't care about the truck. I got another car. I just want you to do the right thing.
What do you mean by do the right thing?
Just get the truck fixed, because I was still making payments on it.
You better make sure y'all came to that conclusion, because you were getting a little shaky over there with me. You done told me twice that you told her don't worry about the truck.
I mean, don't worry about it. That ain't nothing. I'm just happy that she's here.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, first I went to my friend's house, which was down the street from her house. And I was just with my friend. We were just in her house chilling. So I went to go get my brother, and as we were coming back up the street, I was doing 25 and 35 miles on, and it was wet on the ground, and tires that were in the car were not supposed to be on them. So I accidentally slid and I hit a pole. Me and my brother, we were hurt, so the ambulance came, but my brother immediately called her after, the ambulance was called. So the ambulance was making sure we were okay, like, we were fine, but I was sitting on the wall, my brother was standing up. She's running down the street, like, she's real frantic, and she walked right past me and my brother first off. She walked right past us. She's touching the airbags, and she's touching the car, like, my baby, all my hard work, and all my hard work. So then, like, she sat down the wall, and then she laid down, and then she got back up and was just like...
So what's your point?
Basically, basically, it was my fault, and I admitted to her. I said, I'm going to pay for the car.
Okay, so
Never
what's
once
your
did she
defense
say.
what's your defense today?
Okay, my defense is basically I paid $150 of the car so far, but she threw me out after I crashed her car.
Okay.
Tell them
So
why.
I had.
Quiet, man.
So I had to pay rent, a deposit, and for a bed to move out of her house.
You saying you can't afford it because you had to move out?
Yes, sir. I can't afford the pay. She wants me to pay it immediately. I don't have that
I
money.
got you, and I wouldn't think you would unless you're working a very high-paying job, and without a GED, I doubt that to be the case. So I'm going to advise you to, and we'll help you here, get into a program that can get you a GED and a skilled trade. Many programs around the country, particularly community colleges, they offer GED training, help you pass it, and at the same time give you a skilled trade, because you're going to need something, because even this job you have, if they lay you off and you don't have a marketable skill, nobody's going to hire in this day and age with just a GED. Even if you get that GED, you're going to have more. Let me just tell you, like in Detroit, for example, where folks had all the high-paying jobs from the factories, and, well, time the factory closed or laid them off, a year or two later, after exhausting their savings, they're in poverty and can't get another job unless they do go now and get that GED or that skilled trade. And I'm telling you this, and for others to listen as well, and that is, you have to have a skill these days. I don't care what job you're working now, because you can get laid off. That's the main thing, ma'am. You need an education and a skill. So how old are you?
19.
19. She'll turn it around. She doesn't seem like she's a troubled youth. She might be disrespectful and got an attitude problem. That'll change. She's just immature. She get her skill, that's what you want her to do. So you need to change your attitude, though, because even if you go for that job, they're not going to want to deal with you. If you talk to them, if they admonish you on the job, which all supervisors do, at some point they're going to come down on you. You ain't doing this right. You're not doing that right. And if you do them like you did me, they're going to fire you. So I'm going to grant your judgment. Her only defense is that she cannot afford it, but you're going to have to pay it $2,323. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
No matter what, that's my daughter. I always love her. You know, we gonna still be close. I'm gonna reach out to her still. I could care less about the car, because I already got another vehicle. So.
If you care less about the car, why are we here?
Because you should never wreck my truck. You should have been woman enough to pay for it.